The music industry 110% has a dark side to it. And if you're on the outside looking in, all you're seeing is people's Instagram posts. All you're seeing is these people flaunt their money, their lifestyle, cars, women, abundance, blah, 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 blah. But they don't usually show you what happens behind closed doors, what actually has happened behind some of your favorite songs, what has actually happened to these people in these spaces, right? And once again, I've been in this music scene for a cool minute, right? Kind of by accident. My grandfather put out the first rap album, and even though it wasn't something that I was consciously aware of until I say like 4 or 5 years ago, because he raised us in a very humble energy where we weren't really, or at least me, right? Because he's 85, so I came in the back end of the journey, but the way that we were raised, we were kind of separated from that culture, and I'm so happy he did that because there were certain morals and certain levels of integrity and certain perspectives that he ingrained into us. So when we did get into these spaces, we were actually able to see it for what it is, right? When I say I've been in some crazy places. I've been around Grammy award-winning people. I've been around artists, mainstream artists. Like I've literally been around so many different caliber of artists, whether it's reggae, rap, hip hop, just music in general, right? And I started to grow a distaste for it because it's very hard to deal with a set of people who everybody on the outside thinks they're this some type of god or king, and they're just so holy and so pure. But then you actually get the opportunity to interact with these people, and they start throwing smart remarks. They start having egos. They start just so many things start coming up. Like, dude, I've heard horror stories. Like, there's songs that you guys know. I swear to God, there's songs that you guys know, like word for word, that's been put out, got famous, and you didn't know. The person who actually wrote that song didn't get no credit. You don't even know that person's name, but the person who put out the music and took the credit, you know his name like it's in the back of your head, right? There's no doubt about it. You know who this nigga is, but I'm not gonna say his name. But it's just instances like that, right? Where people are getting done dirty, nigga, behind closed doors, behind this music shit. But people don't see that shit, right? If you study at least my actions and the way that I've navigated this space, I stay to myself. I don't interact with a lot of people. I try not to get too deep and too friendly with these niggas because I understand ego is a real thing. I have an ego, right? So Lord knows when my ego may get fucking just pissed off just off of what things that they're doing, right? It's not that fun of a space. Most people who get into this space, the real ones, it's a lonely road. Because you see the things that these people do, you see the way that they articulate, you see the gatekeeping, you just see the weird energy, and it's like, I'm not gonna fake it for you niggas just because y'all in the industry, so I'm just gonna do me, right? And then when people who aren't in that space start saying like that kind of like oddball position, that oddball, that person who kind of stays to himself, they always ask, my nigga, what's wrong with you? Like, bro, there's people who've been looking at me like, bro, how could you possibly be depressed? How could you possibly be sad or anything like that? You have all these opportunities, you have all these people surrounding you, you're in this scene, none of that shit matters when the people in the space aren't pure, aren't true. You guys, like, it's so much shit. People don't pay people. People it's just like, oh my God, yo, there's just so much shit that I've seen. And it's crazy too, because a lot of the people who's at the tip top, and I mean the ones who's at the top with longevity, those people did some very fucked up things. I can name, there's one person in particular. No matter what room I go into, they've all had a horror story about this nigga. All of them. Every single one of them. But then I go to a listener, I go to a quote unquote fan or supporter of this person, and they have no fucking idea about what this person actually does to get in the position that they're in. And it fucks me up. So then I'm sitting there in the middle, looking at the haves and the have-nots do the same shit. They're doing the exact same things to each other. But the have-nots thinks that the haves have some shit that they really don't have. I've seen more have-nots have more integrity, morals, empathy, sympathy, love than the niggas who had something, than the niggas who had money. I've seen people who don't have money give their last before a nigga who has a couple mils sitting in his bank account give $20 out. Don't, like, please don't let his music shit, industry shit, hip-hop, especially hip-hop, get so deeply ingrained into your mental and your want and your ego that you start selling your soul. I had to write down in my journal, bro, it felt like I was selling my fucking soul to get back into it, just to get deeper into this music, hip-hop, whatever the case may be, right? Because it's certain shit y'all want me to do, y'all want me to say, y'all want me to act out, and I can feel it. Y'all want me to, but I'm not doing that. What part of that's not me don't you understand? Like, it's just certain things where it's just like, yo, what in your right mind would make you think I'm okay with what you're doing? I peep everything. A lot of these people in this scene are two-sided as hell. They have two masks on, and they think all because they know how to take off their other mask and put the good one back on, that you forgot that they had the fucked up mask on yesterday. And it's just like, are you really like interacting with me in the facet that you are right now? Are you really talking to me right now? Like, this is crazy to me. Are we gonna really act like y'all aren't doing what you're doing? Oh shit, this is crazy. Like, yeah, man. I always get into a loss of words when I start talking about things like this, because it feels like a endless loop of fake shit. Before I started interacting with the industry, and I was just interacting with the people, I was dealing with more jealousy and bullshit, backhanded remarks once I got into the space than what I was when I was outside of the space. Now, I'm not saying that it didn't exist either while I was outside of the space, but nigga, once you get into the space, everything amplifies. Everything becomes 10 times more potent. If you were dealing with jealousy, that jealousy is finna become 10 times more potent. If you were dealing with, I don't know, even love. If you had the people who loved you at the beginning, those people love you 10 times more once you get into that space, right? It's all just, everything you do just gets amplified. And it's just this really weird ass predicament where the people who don't have it think they have to get to this space, get to that energy, get to that lifestyle, so they don't have to deal with the shit that they were dealing with while they were in the streets, or they were just dealing with just normal everyday shit. But then you realize that shit does not go away. I promise you, there's no amount of credibility, there's no amount of money, there's no amount of whatever the fuck that's going to separate you from the bullshit. You have to literally become like a armored truck in self, right? Y'all are gonna be doing weird shit this whole time. At this point, I've kind of accepted it. I just gotta keep doing what I'm doing and just let y'all hang yourselves, right? And that's what people don't realize too, bro. Energy don't lie, karma don't miss nobody. If you did fuck shit all because you didn't get addressed, or all because nobody says some shit to you, that does not mean it's not going to come back and bite you in your ass. If you aren't doing good business, I promise you that shit gonna come back, and ain't shit you can do about it. If you over here doing bad by people, you taking credit for shit that you didn't do, you just really fucking people over, it's gonna come back to you. And all because the masses, the sheep, doesn't realize what the fuck you're doing. God sees what you're doing, and God gonna get his lick back every single time. Niggas lose bags, niggas lose lifestyles, niggas lose a lot off the fact that they weren't conscious of their karma. Nigga, you gotta stop fucking these people over. You gotta stop talking to people like this. You gotta stop treating people like this, because you're going to reap that shit on the back end. All right, but it's cool. Stack up your millions, stack up your streams, stack up your money. Just do what you do. But then when it hit, don't cry. And to me, don't ask me for help, because I understand how karma works too. You can only shove, neglect, push the button of a godly vessel so much before God separates that vessel and puts that vessel in a position where you need him. And I'm sorry to tell you, I'm not that nice ass nigga who's gonna be like, oh, I forgive and forget. No, fuck that. I might forgive, I'm not forgetting. And the fact that I didn't forget, get your ass over there. Get back. You feel me? Like, I don't know, man. Just do what y'all do. You feel me? If I want to get into this space, do it. I don't know. Maybe my perspective is a little bit twisted because I got put into this shit. Kind of just fucking happened, and then I'm dealing with shit that it's a generational thing, it's a lineage thing, right? So maybe I'm just having to see and deal with things that the normal person wouldn't have to deal with. And if that's the case, then I'm so sorry for trauma dumping on you. But if that's not the case, if this is actually what the fuck everybody is dealing with, because I know it can't just be me off the conversations that I've been having. So if the whole industry is filled with this shit, y'all need to be careful. Y'all need to honestly figure out what the fuck you want and live your life without selling your soul. If you gotta do more of shit you don't like to get into a space, don't do it. It's not meant for you. Fuck them. I love y'all.